Wow, I never answered this. Hi. Yes, let's talk about this. It's actually not what it sounds like, but okay, we're gonna talk about some Canadian cities for a second. I don't live in either of these cities anymore, so I'm not actually doxing myself. I do still live in the province, but, I don't know how else to, explain this without talking about the cities. So, when I was born, my dad owned a house in Edmonton, and that was where my parents lived together. That was the house that I was brought home from the hospital in. But my mom wanted to live in Beaumont for some reason. I don't know. So, I don't know. After a bit, they moved to Beaumont, and my dad still wanted to own the house. He didn't want to sell the house. In fact, to this day, he hasn't sold that house. Lives in a different house, but didn't want to sell it. So instead of selling it, they basically rent it to my sibling's dad. So when my parents split, he still lived there. So instead of kicking him out of the house, he was like, literally, why does it matter? I'll just live in the basement. Especially because that allowed for my siblings and I to grow up together more, consistently, because my mom and my siblings' dad had joint custody of them, and my mom and my dad had joint custody of me. So it was we were pretty consistently living together. It wasn't like we had a certain amount of time with mom and a certain amount of time with our dads, because our dads lived together. It's actually a joke my mom has made, that if people get too personal about asking questions about her divorce and stuff, because people think that that stuff is kind of their business when it's really not. She'll just shut down the whole conversation by being like, my ex-husbands lived together. But no, the whole arrangement was just the top floor was with my siblings' dad and my siblings, and the basement was me and my dad. But no, it's a joke. Because when my parents would go on vacations, when they went to Disney World when my mom was pregnant with me, and so it was my mom, my dad, my siblings' dad, and my siblings trying to go to Disney World, and they were explaining the situation to I don't know, security, because they're wondering about everything happening here. And my sibling's dad was like, don't explain this entire thing happening right now. Just tell them that my dad and him are a gay couple and that you're the surrogate. Just don't make it too complicated. It is complicated, but they don't need to know that. It's been a running joke, And honestly, my neighbors and my friends even were a bit confused about the whole arrangement, if they were newly meeting me later on. The kids that live next door to us thought that he was my grandpa, and I was like, no. And they're like, what? But no, I'm sure some of them, the neighbors too, also were like, oh, no, they're just gay and in love. No, they weren't. No, they share an ex-wife, and so co-parented children together. So you know what, guys? I'm making this about 911 now. Two men can platonically co-parent children. I've seen it with my own eyes. But what Buck and Eddie have going on isn't that. What's really funny about this whole situation is the fact that my sibling's dad's name is Eddie. So there you go. Lore drop. It is almost 1 a.m. I need to go to bed.